Hey, I run a $10,000 a month AI automation agency, and I record every single day. My name's Roman Peshke, and the way these normally go is I answer questions from you guys in the comments below any of these videos. Then we do some live strategy, where I do some building in public, then we cover the YouTube channel growth stats at the very end, which is just a little spreadsheet that I update right here. So let's jump into the comments. There's no need to be jealous because at the end of the day, somebody's going to say God creates everything. That's hurt. Not 100% sure on what I was talking about in this video, but all right. Taxonomy is a science of classifying and naming organisms into a hierarchical system based on the shared characteristics: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I was in that video. There's another comment talking about taxonomy, and I didn't know what that was, so I appreciate the definition there. What is the agency's core philosophy on automation? Yeah, right now it's super simple. If it's not directly generating revenue or tangibly saving on costs in a way that we can show and prove very easily, it doesn't make the cut. So super simple. If the return on investment is not blatantly obvious, then it doesn't make the cut, just because that clouds the value proposition that we can give to a business. So that's what we focus on. That usually means it's going to be things focused around lead generation, lead nurture, setting appointments, sales, and then maybe some stuff on the back end if we can clearly make an impact to their employees' timesheets or their productivity gains. If we can clearly show that, then sure. But honestly, the clearest ROI you're going to be able to draw is in sales and marketing, and so that's what we lean into. Is it worthwhile to set up a LinkedIn account for generating business prospects in the automation industry? I think so, just because during a lot of my outreach, I've had multiple conversations with business owners where they say that they've looked me up on LinkedIn and referenced my LinkedIn profile on those discovery calls. So I think having that set up just so that it shows that you're a bit more of a real person, I think that is a plus. Just don't spend too long on it. That's the big thing. Don't spend a bunch of time doing things that aren't generating leads for the business. So knock it out, block off, give yourself an hour or two, just fill it out, and then be done with it. Hoping for 500 subs, bro. Let's go. Yeah, dude, we're getting close. We're getting close. How do you deal with negative feedback or criticism? Honestly, I don't let it bother me, at all. Criticisms and negative feedback, I think, are really only valuable if they're coming from a person that's in a place that you want to be. So if it's coming from anybody else, whether it's friends, relatives, or other people, or acquaintances, stuff like that, if they're not where I want to be, I'm not going to listen to their advice. So I just kind of let it roll off of me. And I think I have been gifted the personality type where people's negative feedback and criticisms don't really get to me, and I don't have any issues with cutting those types of people out of my life to begin with. So if somebody's super negative, I just cut them out of my life because I don't want that to influence the way I perceive the world, if that makes sense. Basically, there's the whole theory of reticular activation. I don't think it's even a theory. So reticular activation is the RIS, network of neurons in the brainstem that controls arousal, wakefulness, and attention by filtering sensory information, allowing you to focus on what's important. Basically, you can change what you focus on by doing these things right here: setting clear intentions, using affirmation, visualizing success, practicing gratitude, blah, blah, blah. Big deal with cognitive function. Let's see if I can find what I'm actually looking for here. Reticular activation. I'm thinking of this red car example. Yeah. After deciding you want to buy a specific car, like a red one, you start noticing that exact make and model everywhere on the road. And so the way this applies with negativity in your life is if somebody around you is always focusing on the negative and always bringing that to your attention, then you are more likely to find more negative things around you and focus on that. And it tends to bring down your kind of mood as a whole. So if I notice somebody is starting to impart those beliefs onto me, or if they have the potential to, instead of taking it upon myself to like try and fix them, I just focus on what I can control, which is myself, and I remove them from the equation. Some people think that's like cold and callous, but I think you're kind of doing yourself a bit of a disservice if you're not doing that. Let's see. And how long could I realistically get my first client / be making $5,000 a month, assuming I'm starting from nothing with no experience or product yet? So absolute zero. I'm going to assume zero business knowledge and zero product knowledge with AI. If you're starting from absolute scratch, 5K, I mean, it really does depend. Depends on how much time you're willing to put in to learning an application. Because even with no experience and no product, which I think the product really doesn't matter when you're first getting started, if you are just willing to do 100 dials, 100 DMs, 100 emails, 100 texts, if you're willing to do like 100 pieces of outreach a day, every single day, for like a month, and offering to work for free, that's about as close to a guarantee of a first client as you can get, as long as you just don't give up. So I'd say first client, less than 30 days, 5K a month. I don't want to make any promises, but I can give the advice that if you do an absurd amount of outreach, you just have to do an absurd amount of outreach so that it becomes more unlikely for you to fail than it is for you to succeed. What does that look like? It looks like calling, texting, emailing, DMing business owners, and having as many conversations as you can, as rapidly as you can, taking that information from those conversations, figuring out what they actually need in the business, and then figuring out how to solve that problem for them as fast as humanly possible. If you are absolutely relentless, I have personally seen people get to 5K with, I don't know if it was zero, but little to no experience in under 2 months. Of course, some level of experience does help, and really everyone does have some level of experience because you know how to have a conversation. Like, you know how to talk to people, even if you don't know sales. Some people are naturally like more charismatic, so they have an advantage there. Some people are more technical, so they have a bit more experience there just because they like figuring out how stuff works. All that is to say, I don't have an exact answer for that, but if you are willing to put in a relentless amount of work, I think 60 days could get you to 5K a month in a fairly straightforward way. Go check out the how to pick a niche video. It's from probably like 6 or 7 videos back at this point. That's a great place to start. And then I'll be doing more stuff about getting your first client shortly. So just drop a comment if that's something you're into. Let's see, and then we got Opal looks pretty cool. I've been missing out on this, but I'll give it a try. Keep pushing the positivity, man. I love it. I'm pretty sure I responded to this yesterday, but it's back up here, so I'll respond to it again. But yeah, Opal, Google Opal. It's a Google Gemini Labs thing. It's a no-code app builder that they put out that integrates natively with the Google AI product suite. It's kind of fun to play around with, but ultimately, I don't see it. I think it's worse than the other alternatives out on the market. So not super bullish on that one. Let's check the growth stats really quick now that we're through the comments. We've got 484 subs. That's pretty sweet. So we got 44. September 9th. Sweet action, man. We're closing in on 500 real quick. And then the live work. Today, did a couple of things. I made a couple automations for the martial arts business consulting company that I'm partnered in. One of them is a little tool for our existing members. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick. One quick second here. A little calculator, because we had a question on one of the calls about how to calculate the perfect schedule for their academy. And I figured I could whip up a little tool super quickly with Gemini and embed it on a little web page for them. And then we could have a nice asset inside the group, provide some value. So what this does is basically just took the math that we teach these guys and told Gemini to make it into a beautiful looking calculator here. So 3 steps. You have them calculate how many students they can fit on the floor. Pretty common answer is 40. Then we get their active student count. Let's go with 100. And then how many times a week they're required to come in and train, or how many times they would like them to. And so let's say 2 times a week is pretty standard. That means the optimal, or the magic number, which is just 80% of your max capacity because you want to have full classes, is 32. Optimal classes per week is 6. And then it gives them a little sample schedule here on how to distribute those across the week. Then it gives them some why empty classes hurt, why fuller classes win, and then some key principles. And then in a couple of days, I'll also be releasing this as a lead magnet for some people in the free school group for martial arts school owners, just so that we can get some more use out of it. But I'm going to strip away some of the capabilities and add a call to action here for a one-on-one call for implementation. That way they can get booked on one of the partners' calendars. So that was one of the things I did. Another one was make.com automation. We're basically pulling the Zoom call recordings and transcripts. Taking that, I'm getting a notification when the recording is done, basically processing, so that it can be uploaded into the group. And then the transcript is getting pulled out and then going through ChatGPT, a little tone of voice, a couple of modules there, so that we can create a nice actionable description underneath the training call, as well as put together a nice little email to send out for the members that couldn't make it on the call. That way we kind of increase the engagement there on the back end. Now I know what you're saying. Roman, you just talked about how everything should be clear ROI focused when you're doing these. Different circumstance, because I'm a partner in this business and my stake in it isn't at risk, basically. So I have built up such a relationship to where I'm an equal partner in this business, and so I'm not really at risk of being fired like a typical agency would be. I'm not working as an agency in this business in the same sense. Since I'm a partner, I can do more of the technical optimization on the back end without risking my job being gone. So hope that makes sense. Anyways, that's it for today, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.